Yeah. All right. Okay, welcome friends. We are on NMBF Coffee Chats. It's a church-based channel, so we have sessions for the community and also for the greater society. So today is Friday nights, and it's dedicated for youth and young adults topic. And today is more for youth, youngsters in our community, and we want to thank God for Lionel Darsi, who is a very gifted young man. Besides being extremely handsome, as you can clearly see, so he is truly an amazing person. As you get to know him, his thoughts and all, I was really impressed. So we would really like all the youngsters to connect with each other. We are one body in Christ, and we can all work together. So Lionel has accomplished so much at a young age, and he's really quite ahead in his thinking and his vision. And we are so thankful that he's doing part two of this session, the call to be entrepreneur. Hope this talk encourages those of us who are here and those who will be watching it online to be entrepreneurs. Okay, so over to Lionel. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. Uh, it's been a while since we last had our talk about entrepreneurship part one, and it's been a while. I've been quite busy lately, so finally got the time to accommodate part two. So thank you all for joining in. And if you guys can, any one of you can, keep your videos open if that's okay. And also, please do raise your hand if I ask any questions, and please feel free to participate and answer. Because I guess entrepreneurship is something that I'm learning all along and trying to pass on the little knowledge that I have. So I'd also like you guys to add on to whatever I'm trying to share here. And the best part is that I'm getting the opportunities to really practice the knowledge that I'm gaining day on day. And yeah, so I'll just share my screen and start off with the presentation that I have. And well, let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we.
Uh, uh, Hands up or else a thumbs up would also do. Great. All right. So last time we had talked about. So this is a basic outline of the presentation that I'm trying to do, so that you guys know it's not going to last for long, too long. So you can have a track of the right reasons, what's a business model and how to go about it, how to raise funds, driving factors, the emotional journey in being an entrepreneur, and some of the harsh realities and how to come to them. So a quick recap on the previous session that we had. Uh, we discussed about the very basic definition of entrepreneurship, understood a big biblical standpoint of why entrepreneurs are not doing the wrong thing and why it is very important to be an entrepreneur, and different types of entrepreneurships and how those different modules work and how would they suit us based on our career path and so on. And where does a person basically begin, the basic questions to ask oneself before getting into entrepreneurship, and major roadblocks that majority of us will be facing. So that was part one. So we'll be moving on to part two quickly. So the right reasons to enter entrepreneurship. So before that, I'd like to give a short introduction of how I got introduced to entrepreneurship is through my family. And my dad was an engineer in BHEL working in Bhopal, and he was in a pretty good position, which he quit and got into solar manufacturing. And back in 2000s, solar was just coming up, and it was just becoming a reality. And he had a very strategic point where he was entering early into the market and would have had a lot of advantage. And I've seen him work hard day and night, and he was a role model that I looked at and how hard he worked. And he was a mechanical engineer who was writing his own software. And right now we have a lot of courses, Udemy, etc. Shifting your career is quite easy now But back then, all you had was a bunch of books that you had to read and do things. So it was very inspirational. And the things that I saw, and he used to involve me into his business, and he used to make me send negotiation mails. And some of them used to get accepted, and the money used to get released. So I was really excited to be part of it. And that's how I understood what it is to be an entrepreneur and really got interested in the business field. But right now, I'm actually a strategy consultant. I work with multiple firms as a consultant on strategy. And I have my own firm as well called Old Fox Consulting for strategy. And then apart from that, I have a small business that I recently started on sound equipments and especially sound treatment for churches, home theaters, and so on. And a lot of small other businesses that I'm involved with as a consultant and as a small time investor. So, putting that aside, going forward, coming to the session, what are the right reasons to enter entrepreneurship? So, what's the basic purpose, the main purpose, the motivation behind entrepreneurship? Well, if I think about my purpose of getting into sound equipments was that when I was acquiring sound equipment for my church, it was very expensive. And when I went down the supply chain and found out how this business is working and the different aspects that are playing and why it's becoming so expensive for us to purchase equipment. And once I got the right contact, the price was probably almost 54% of what the market was quoting. So almost 50% discount. So I just thought, fine. So if I get into this space and looking at the market, how much each ministry is spending in sound equipment, it's humongous. And if I can provide them with a better price and better deals, that would be a great thing to do. Apart from that, I also was working as a sound tech in my church, digital mixers, how acoustics works, how sound works, and so on. So wanted also to get into that side of the field. Sorry, can you guys hear me? It says my internet is
There was
unstable.
a bit of a freeze screen about 10
Okay.
seconds back.
But the audio was
Just
audible?
repeat that line, what you just said earlier.
Oh yeah, later got into acoustic treatments and so on, because that really helps listeners pay more attention at church and so on. So there was a motivation behind it, right? So there was something that was really bothering me, and I was literally trying to find a solution to it. And that's how we try to find a purpose behind it. So every business will have a purpose before it becomes totally commercial. So that's one place where you can look at problem solving or making a positive impact and using God-given talents. So being brought up in church, singing songs since I was a kid, I play multiple instruments, and I really wanted to understand how sound equipment worked, and I really spent a lot of time understanding it. And that was really helpful with helping my church set up things. So, and that further led into me getting seriously into that zone of doing a business, building a business out of it. So God gives us a lot of unique gifts. Some of my friends are also writers. They are really good at writing Christian content, and some of them are planning to start their newsletters, Christian newsletters for the upcoming new trendy youth and so on, trying to reach the teens and so on. So understanding where my gifts are and how can I add the purpose to it and find a business opportunity and ultimately contributing to the society. So uh, you can see there are multiple businesses that come up with a very good idea of helping people. For example, you can see GE Electricals. So their purpose, which they started, was very small, but today they're a big conglomerate. But they're no more having a similar what do you call innovative technology or else a process of generating employment anymore. They're very commercial. All that they do, the social impact they do is by giving for social causes for which they get tax exemption. So they're not really giving it, they're giving it just so that they can save on tax. So there is a big difference in it. And you can see helps uplift others. So if you can align these three, these are just the basic, way to think about getting into the right reasons why you should want to consider entrepreneurship. And there are just four basic steps. I mean, there is a literally a big manual on how a business model is supposed to be built. But if you just want to understand from a, holistic perspective, it's about understanding the value propositions, the revenue streams, customer segment, and sustainable operations. So if we just try to summarize what all it involves is value proposition is nothing but what else, what are you doing better? For example, with my business, I was trying to cut the prices down of the equipment for the customers. So I'm giving them the same quality equipment at a lesser price. So that's my value proposition. They get the same warranty, they get the same installation experience, they get the same after sales experience. And the only thing, the majority part of it is affordability, because every equipment has a life cycle. After the life ends, you have to invest again. And some of the big churches, they invest twice or thrice in a year as well, whereas some churches invest once in 2 years or 3 years. But still, that's a very big budget for them. So that was one of the main value propositions I had. And looking at the revenue streams is that I just wanted to see if I can cut down the prices by 30-40%. Will I have any profit left? And to my surprise, the equipment that we're buying here in India has about 180% average profit percentage. So there's a big headroom for me to cut down the prices. So ultimately, I'll be making a lot of profit for sure. And then looking at the customer segment, I've been already, giving you examples of the typical clients I've been working with. So also later, the customer segment opened up with, home theaters for villas. So in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, there are a lot of villa projects coming up, and all these villas have a dedicated room for a home theater. And so setting up a home theater costs around 10 to 15 lakhs each. So it's a big project, but you can finish it in within a month or two once you have the designs ready. So I had to find the right team for it, a sound engineer, an architect for giving the CAD designs and so on. And we are scattered right now, but we are doing small projects one at a time and then going forward with it. And then looking at sustainable operations. So it is very necessary to consider starting small. You just don't want to jump into it right away. I wouldn't recommend anybody booking in too much of your investments or your savings into the business right from the beginning. So the first deal I ever caught was I had the dealer numbers and I had my friends from different churches from the youth group I was attending in Hyderabad. They came to me, they were like, bro, we want so and so equipment. And then I pulled out a better deal for them and I made a small profit within it. So I did not have any GST number, anything, no registration or anything. It was just a trial to see how things work out and how it's going to be profitable for me. That's when I started slowly investing. And after that, I had also one of the friends from my sister's network who has a considerably big company which builds websites. And he was willing to build my website for free. So it quite costs about 1.5 lakh to build a proper e-commerce website, but he was willing to give it to me for free. And we are right now working on building a website. And that's how one thing at a time over the last 1.5 years, this has been going on. So I'm taking it very slow, making sure that I don't get stuck up with compliances, taxes, or anything. and see how I can build a sustainable business one day at a time. So taking it slow is very important. And coming to how to raise funds. So the main idea with, in my experience of consulting as well, I've seen companies raise funds who have bootstrapped for at least 2 to 3 years. Because any firm to book their profits, it takes at least 8 of you functioning on your own. And once you have that profit percentage, the percentage of profit matters a lot when you're raising funds with other investors. So bootstrapping is a place where I'd say you should have a tight rein on your personal spendings. You should have an investment strategy, personal investment strategy. You should have a savings uh, you know, behavior. So you have your salary coming in, you cut down some amount and you allocate it for your business straight up. So, and apart from that, bootstrapping is also done by partnering with some of your friends. Like everybody pools in, you can pool in your money and then start the business and see where it goes. So self-funding is the best way to start because it gives you a lot of room and freedom to work with. Because if you'll have big investors later on, they'll put pressure on you to work differently, or else they will put pressure for performance and profits. So once you have bootstrapped and have a company which has run for about 2 to 3 years, you can then go on to get your investors. And investors are there in multiple forms. It can be family, it can be companies, it can be other individuals, depending on whomever will fit in with your business idea. And there are a lot of bank loans available as well, but they're very expensive right now. So no point of going for bank loans. But if you have a profitable company which has probably a turnover over 1 to 2 crores a year at least, then I guess you can hire a fund manager and have a proper debt management plan for yourself before you pick up a loan. And then there are a lot of grants and competitions. So Bangalore is the hub for entrepreneurs. Ease of doing business is, it's ranked one in ease of doing business. And you just go out here, every place, any IT corridor, you'll find billions of companies just working day and night. And startups, just, probably today there might have been some 15 startups registered. So it's not a big surprise. But all of these people, there are a lot of competitions that happen where you pitch your business and you get investors to invest.
Yeah, Lionel, I think the screen is frozen. Uh, is that correct? Friends, can you hear me?
Yeah, we cannot hear.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's wait. Let's wait. There is, he actually shifted to a new place. Therefore, the signal thing is a bit of a hassle. But I'm sure since we are all friends here, we can manage this problem with some understanding and informal setting. Yeah, so let me just see if I can ring him up. He might, yeah, I think he's disconnected. Okay, so that means he will be able to join back. Okay, just give him a minute, please. Yeah, okay, there he is. Yeah, hi, Lionel. Yeah, go ahead and start again. I think we missed you for about
Yeah. Could you just tell me where you guys lost me?
uh, anyone. I think just go backtrack.
You
You
were telling about the Bangalore being a
yeah.
place where you find a lot of
All
startups
right.
dropping.
Yes, yes. A lot of startups coming up, and they have a lot of competitions going on here. And you also have that mini Shark Tank kind of thing here. So you can pitch your idea and get investors to invest into your firm. And there are a lot of grants also granted by the government. So there are minority loans that are provided by state as well as central government. Women entrepreneur loans, they're highly subsidized, and I guess they're also dispersing about 50 lakhs for a business that has generated about 5 lakhs of turnover. So, and then they are subsidized, so you just have to pay half of it back to the government. uh, so those are some amazing ways you can get yourself to fund your business. And crowdfunding doesn't work much here in India, but most European countries and North American countries use crowdfunding a lot. And I've seen also some of the companies from India, they simply register a firm in US and they start GoFundMe project and get all the money and invest here in India. So yeah, there are creative ways of doing things, but I wouldn't recommend it owing to the ethical standards. But yeah, then there are some of the driving factors. So I was just asking Angeline, what are some of the aspects that I could really speak about, because we already had an introductory session previously. So what are the driving factors of running high risk ventures? Well, risk is inevitable. Even if you start small or big, risk is the same. So we just tend to start small so that we can minimize the loss. That's all. But then even if you invest 100 rupees, you can lose your 100 rupees as well. So risk is always there. But yeah, faith and boldness, that's very important, because when I was getting into the audio world, I went to these exhibitions where they sell and they have these exhibits of different sound systems, new upcoming sound systems, and so on. I saw so many people already in the market, and it is a crowded market, and they have a very specific supply chain contracts and exclusivity to sell a brand here in India. And if you have to get your such a contract, brand exclusivity contract, you'd have to invest about 1.5 crores and pre-book the inventory with the supplier. So it's up to them how they want to export their products into India. But am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Yeah, so you at least need 1.5 CRs to book your inventory and so on. I was thinking, will I even sustain here? Will I even be able to make any difference? But when I started speaking to some of my friends who are big time into this business, especially some of them from Chennai. Chennai is the hub for sound equipment and musical instruments, and they were giving some insights, very interesting insights into how a person can cut into profits. So I understood that there were segments where I can make different percentages of profits. So it's about how you want to target on a one single product and sell it more, selling the product which gives you more profits, and also creating a market for the lower margin uh, products one by one. But then I really had to believe that it will work out for sure, because otherwise there's no point in really investing so much of my time every day, at least 3 to 4 hours, just to think about what I want to do next, where should I get my next project from, and so on. And taking calculated risks, very important, because in my consulting, I've seen people who are not quite educated but are heavily, heavily laden with a generational wealth and so on. They would simply come and tell, I'm going to give you 1 crore, just set up a restaurant business for me. You just take this 50 lakhs and set up a car wash for me. So, but they really don't understand what all goes into calculating the success probability of your business. Because you really want to consider the market conditions, the locality, the location, and how much is the demand, trying to get a hold on how much the demand can be, and so on. So, calculating where you're investing, how you're investing, what's your market size, is it really too crowded, or else do you have room to cut down the competition is very important. Otherwise, we'll end up simply blindly investing and you'll surely lose your money. And innovating is one big aspect of it, because right now in the home theater market, this thing is handled by a different vendor. So the acoustics are given by a different vendor. You need a sound engineer to come and tune the room. So that's done by a different vendor. So having so many people involved in one single project, it's very difficult to keep track of things and meet deadlines. And on top of that, it's very expensive. So trying to innovate how we can execute such projects single-handedly. So I just wanted to route everything through me. So I just wanted all these suppliers straight from the origin country to directly provide me with the equipment. So that's how I've been working on building some of these, business contacts in China, Vietnam, etc., and trying to innovate the way things are done so that things are done quicker and cheaper, so that it'll save you a bigger margin of profit. And apart from that, even in tech businesses, most businesses that go out of business are the ones who don't end up innovating at all and sticking to the old ways. I have a lot of experience with software development as well, where for a big company that I was working for, we had to redesign the whole LMS, and they were actually, it's called a learning management system, which is a software on which you train your employees. So they were using a 2014 software uh, in 2021. So it was already obsolete. So we had to fire that company and build our own system. So that's the inevitable end of not innovating. And those are the driving factors. So as long as you keep these basic factors and keep innovating, it helps you maintain your competitive advantage in the market. And well, the emotional journey of entrepreneurship, yeah, this is the reality of being in business, is that yes, you will be rejected, you will fail multiple times, that's for sure. And I've seen that because I reached out to a lot of people to understand how the business works, and not everybody is willing to give you that information. And there are some big trade secrets. They really don't want things to come out. So, or else probably they have cracked the code and they just don't want another competitor with them. So, and then coming to customers, yes, it's very difficult to catch hold of good customers. It's very difficult, especially for my business, but there are different businesses. Product oriented businesses are easier to scale, so that shouldn't be a big problem. But then trying to build your market, it's going to be tough. And you just have to keep going at it every day, consistently, relentlessly, and then slowly the results will come in. And staying resilient, because there were instances where I got really good big projects, and at the last moment, things turned the other way around, and I lost them. And but then that shouldn't really push you down, because I was really discouraged because I put in a lot of effort to get to till that stage. And then celebrating progress, because I myself, I set too many standards for myself, and I end up not really looking at the even the little progress that I'm making, because it's very important to, when I just look back now and see the number of people that I have as resources, and the number of contacts that I've built, the real-time contacts who really believe in me, uh, how far I got on this, it really is quite unimaginable for myself, because it's really small right now, but I can see where this is going. And I'm sure it'll become, breaking down your tasks for each day and doing it,
Yeah, I think we lost you for 30 seconds again.
you know,
Lionel?
it really helps. It really helps. Oh,
Yeah, I think
now
we
am I audible now?
lost. Yeah, audible now. You got to just backtrack 30 seconds, I think.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
staying resilient is where you guys lost me, is it?
yeah.
All right. So, oh yeah. So with each rejection that you face in the market, it's really gonna psychologically it affects you because you've been working hard for every day, and uh, and then uh, things not working out really puts the pressure on, and keeping yourself cool, calm, and then just persevering is very important. And celebrating progress, where this is how I work, where I break down my tasks every day, set up 5 tasks related to the business, and then finish those on that day. So that really helps see progress one day at a time, slowly. Because I can see majority of the youth today, especially us, we are used to the process of instant gratification, where everything needs to be done quickly right now as soon as possible. But then business time, because things don't come to you just like that. You have to work really hard for it. And just you have to take a moment and appreciate yourself for being consistent every day. And even the very little progress, probably your website coming live can be celebrated, your first sale online can be celebrated, and so on. And some of the harsh realities, uncertainty, and the number of sacrifices that you have to make. Some are little. As the business grows, your sacrifices might end up being big. Because right now, I joined a firm as a strategy consultant here in Bangalore, and I had to move all the way from Hyderabad. I was asking them for a remote role, but they wanted me to be here. So I had to leave my mom and sister there, move here again, take another house, set up the house, and so on. So that's quite a sacrifice to make. And thankfully, they are here now for a few weeks. But going forward, it's going to be tough coming to Bangalore and going to Hyderabad whenever needed. And apart from that, coming to business, there are a lot of sacrifices. You'd have to really focus and prioritize your time, because I really lost a lot of good time I was spending at work life. That's a youth initiative by Youth for Christ in Hyderabad. So on Saturdays, they have this. It was really nice, amazing sessions by corporate leaders, Christian corporate leaders specifically. But I couldn't go once I got onto this business opportunity. So yeah, so it requires a lot of sacrifices, and there's room for financial instability, because suddenly you know that you have to put in at least 25,000 in the bank to start open your current account. So probably if your savings are low, and you have to start, so you have to cut down on your spendings, and it causes a little of panic. But yep, you can do that. And not every venture succeeds, because this is not the first venture that I worked towards. There were multiple before which didn't work out and didn't go forward. And so the idea is also not to just stop with one business idea. You can keep trying till you succeed, and staying grounded in faith, because the motivation to get into entrepreneurship was not personal gain. Yes, personal gain is needed, wealth is needed, but for the right reasons. I can see the lack that I can fill in people's lives, and how we can touch multiple levels, layers of the society through entrepreneurship. So that really helps you be grounded in what God has for you in it, and how He wants you to succeed, and staying anchored and going through tough times. You know, it's difficult, but then, yeah, you get there one day at a time. So yeah, those were some broad ideas of entrepreneurship, the right reasons, how to think about a business model, how to raise your funds, high risk ventures, how to drive them, and what are the emotional aspects and harsh realities of it. So if you guys have any questions,